Mauri o re te whānau, no mai, hoki mai, welcome on in or welcome back to the 99Dreams podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mauri, and today we have an amazing guest for us. He's had to zoom in all the way from Australia because that's where he is. He's just celebrated his birthday the other day, so shout out to Tutawake. Welcome to the show, brother, and happy birthday for the other day, my guy. What's good?
Ngā mihi, tēnā tātou te iwi.
Yeah. Well, brother, before we get started, do you just want to give us a bit of a Whānau I, who you are and where you're from?
Tēnā tātou katoa, ko Tutawake Dicko Smith tōku ingoa, he uri tēnei no te whānapunu te whakatōhia te aitanga māhaki me kaitahu whāngai hoki. Tupaki au ki Otiputi. Oi, kia ora everyone, my name's Tutawake. I'm from the east coast of North Island and have some whakapapa down to Kaitahu, but yeah, born and bred in Dunedin. Born and bred in Dunedin. Currently in Aussie at the moment, just visiting my dad's side of the whānau. Haven't been over here since before COVID, so it's been pretty good to get back here. Yeah.
Nah, mean, that's on. And so, because we'll go over that a little bit, COVID had us locked down for about 2 and a bit years. How hard was it not being able to come back and see whānau over in Aussie?
That's a really good question. I think for me, it was hard because for me, I did like to travel back and forth. But like, it was all good because there was still all of that like video calling and all of that kind of rada. But like, yeah, it did take a while. Like they did, like my whānau over here did try to get me to come over like 2021 because that was the year of my 21st. But I told them no because I was too worried about COVID back then, and just didn't want to come to Aussie, get COVID, and then get back to New Zealand, get COVID again probably, because there was just a whole lot of things. But it's like I feel like what it's done now is it's made this trip a whole lot more like meaningful, I guess. Just because we haven't seen each other in a while. I think it did make it easier last year because my grandparents, they live over here, while they live in the Gold Coast. They came over last year to Dunedin, so I guess that made it a little bit more easier. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because it must be quite hard. Like me personally, I'm thankful enough that all my whānau's here in Aotearoa, but it is hard, like when you're confined to, for example, Dunedin, and you can't go and see your whānau, you're like, I just want to get home, like just want to make sure everything's all good. But at that same time, the threat of COVID was real back then. We didn't know what to expect. You see on the news because he's dying, so you don't want to like risk catching it by going somewhere else. See,
and it didn't make it any easier because my dad's wife, she's a nurse, and then my grandmother, she's a nurse, and I'm like they'll take all those extra precautions and all that. Like, not that I wasn't back then, I was, but coming all the way to another country just for like a visit and all of that COVID restrictions, like we probably couldn't be able to go do what we're doing here at the moment, like going into town for a kai or something, and showing because I brought my partner over to come meet my whānau, so showing her around like Aussie, for example, and couldn't be able to do that back in the day. Oh, back in the day, it's only a couple of years ago, but I feel like it makes everything a bit more meaningful now. There's probably like the only good outcome.
Yeah, because you sort of don't take for granted those moments anymore, because you don't know when the next thing's going to happen where countries just lock themselves down again.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Like, imagine if I came over to Aussie and then old fucking Auntie Cinda locked down the country and I couldn't get back. And because back then I was still at uni, so like I would have to do long distance and all that other kind of stuff, and
missions, brother?
Yeah, bro, just it's too hardcore. Like they tried and tried and tried to get me over, and I kept saying no, 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 and then I was like, nah, stuff it. We'll go over now.
Yeah, I mean, now's the perfect time to be out and about, stretching the wings and traveling again. All the borders, I think, pretty much worldwide are open again. Everyone's traveling, having fun, and making memories again, as if nothing happened. There's just slight precautions now, eh? Like everyone's a little bit more cautious about where they travel in the world.
Yeah, I think everyone's just a bit more cautious to like travel everywhere, and then like obviously after COVID, like every country's got their own set of rules on what you can do and what you can bring and how long you're here for and all that jargon, and just like how I only want to go over there for a few days and then come back.
Yeah, how long have you been over in Aussie for in this trip?
Oh fuck, there's a funny story, G. So on what was it, Tuesday? So because me and my partner, we flew out of Queenstown to come to Adelaide, and
Yeah.
we we got into Queenstown and we got to the airport and we got there like midday, and then all day like we were sitting there and there were no planes outside, like on the runway. There was nothing, and I was like, shit, where's my plane? And then like halfway, like probably at like 3 o'clock, they said, "Oh, your flight's being diverted to Christchurch to go refuel and come back." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then there were like because we flew Virgin Australia, there was a Qantas flight that like landed, an Air New Zealand, a Jetstar, and then what made it worse was the Qantas one was flying to Sydney, where like me and my partner were flying to get our connection to Adelaide. And then they left, and our plane didn't show up, and they cancelled it at like 7:30. And I was like, "Sure, lucky enough that my great grandparents, my nan and my granddad, they were in Queenstown at that time, and me and my partner went and stayed with them. And then I was like to my kōrero, I was like, "Can you give us a karakia so we can get over, please?" And he done it, and we left. I was like, should have got a karakia the day before.
Lesson learned there, eh? Cuz always get the karakia first.
But I thought that my karakia would have been all right. Nah. It wasn't all right.
Not enough mana.
Not enough mana. Mana.
Hey, nah, karakia, it's key, man. It's key. If it worked for our tupin, it's got to work for us, eh, cuz?
Bro. And I was like, because I like, for me, like, I always do like a karakia before I travel anywhere. Or I'll get someone else to do it. But like, yeah, I feel like, I don't know, there was just something in the air that was just like, nah. You aren't going today, you're going tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, you're good. But yeah, only been here like, this is probably our 3rd day in Aussie. And, oh yeah, we're here today. In Adelaide today and tomorrow, and then early Monday morning we fly to Gold Coast, and then we're there for about 3 days, and then fly back next Thursday.
Oh, mean.
Yeah. So it's a little trip. Like my whānau over here all complaining, why are you here so little of a time and all that. Well, my family over here all Pākehā, so
yeah.
They all like, oh, why aren't you staying so long? And I'm like, one, me and my partner got to go back to Mahi, and my partner's still studying. So I'm like, oh, yeah, no, we have to go back.
Hey, actuals though, I don't have all the time in the world, man. I got shit to do, places to be, people to see.
Come back later in the year, eh? Fucking hell. And that's the other thing. Our flights are so expensive,
bro.
Like,
tell me about it.
So like my grandparents were saying their flights from Gold Coast to Adelaide and then back, like a return trip, it would cost them like close to $1,000 just to come for like 3 days.
Fuck.
Like that, like it's disgusting. Like I remember before COVID, I would fly from like any domestic flight in Aussie, it would only be like $60, $70, and now it's going all the way up to like hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which is probably the same in like NZ too. Like, couple hundred just to get from one end of the country to the other.
Yeah, it's like what I think Taranaki to Auckland. They're on like a mean day. If you book like 5 years in advance, you can get it for $79. If you book today, it's probably about 800.
5 years in advance, you could have gone any number. Why 5 years? Is that how long you
Who knows?
from Taranaki to Auckland when you're still studying at uni?
Gee. Those I might have to book my grad flights day one of university 2016.
Yeah, fucking hell. It sounds like you, Al. Nah.
Nah, I reckon airlines have put prices up because of COVID. They had 2 years of minimal to no flying, and now they're trying to make back all that money that they lost over those 2 years.
Yeah, it's ridiculous though. Like, yeah, I don't. And New Zealand's not the cheapest place to live either. Like, with everything going up, especially Kai. Like, that's the first thing I noticed over here, is that, like, if you're going to the supermarket, example, it's iwi. If you're going to the supermarket in New Zealand, you get a dozen eggs, like free-range eggs. It's like what, anywhere between $8 to $15. They'll get like a 24 tray of free-range eggs here for like $4. Like a 24, they'll get it for like $4, $5 of free-range eggs. And like, so like, not like the old man the other night, he went to get like, you know how we've got like those 12 packs of cans of fizzies from the supermarket, and they're like $18 for like a 12 pack or something.
Yeah.
Like $5 over here.
Fuck,
it's ridiculous. Like, I'm like, no wonder why my supermarket fucking it costs like $2.50 for a week or 2 weeks.
Cost of living is ridiculous over here, bud.
Bro, hard. Like, I reckon everyone needs to like the government needs to put our pay up to at least $25 an hour just for us to be living.
Yeah. Or reduce the taxes on foods and stuff like that, bud.
Oh, mate, you know,
it's ridiculous.
You reduce taxes. Reduce taxes. They're like, that's how we get our money. But think about us.
Fuck your fellas' money. Yeah, how do we get our money? You
Like,
are taking it all.
Like Michael Jackson said, what about us? No.
Hey, actuals, man, there's so many things wrong with the world at the moment, and the least of their worries should be trying to tax their people till they're starving. But
like we're all here, we're all like going through it and everything. So I guess that's like the main thing. Like, I know that there's a lot of negative stuff that are there, but at least like for us, like our generation, like we're getting to the point where we're starting to understand how everything is and how to like navigate our way through, especially like money issues. But like, for example, like finding jobs and all that kind of stuff, and finding a good enough job to give you a good enough money. Like for you, you'll be doing heaps of mahi back in Taranaki, and then you've also got this podcast going on. Sometimes I think to my head, how the hell does he do it?
Oh, cuz I think it comes back to, like you said, that generation with money and being resourceful enough to, if there's a will, there's a way, and you've got 24 hours in a day. If you're working 9 to 5, you know you've got 8 hours before you sleep. You can fit in a whole other day's worth of mahi. You can either get up earlier. But I just love how accessible technology is now, and I love seeing, you know, cats younger than me, cats older than me, just making a difference by just using what they can. And I think it comes down to that next gen showing the way.
Hard. Well, like all the like all of our tipuna like said back in the day, like we don't own the land, we're just looking after it for the next generation. And I feel like now at our age, it's our time to start taking over and looking after like our whenua and all the like mātauranga that we have around everything, and like preparing ourselves to give it to the next generation that are up and coming. Because hell, every Tom, Dick and Harry's having a kid young these days. Jesus. Jeez.
Hey, actuals though, brother. But I like what you said there because it feels like, and I'm not just saying it's us and it's our people's fault, but it just seems like there's a lot of greed in the world at the moment, and what we're doing is trying to extract as much as we can from the whenua without actually trying to protect it and nurture it for the next generation. We're trying to claim as much of it as we can, take all the resources while we can,
Mm.
and benefit ourselves rather than benefiting our people and our next generations, which is what we should be doing.
Yeah, like yeah, that's actually like a really good point. I wonder why I said that, eh? No. But yeah, I feel like I think for me, especially why I said that is because like obviously like finished uni, um, and wondering to myself, what am I gonna do now? Um, like for me this year, I just wanted to have a gap. I just wanted to work, but like, what am
Yeah.
I gonna do for like in the for the future? Looking forward, what am I gonna do for um like our people, for example? Yeah, what am I gonna do to help benefit our people? What am I gonna do to, like help prepare the rest of us for looking after the whenua, or looking after anything to do with Te Ao Māori. Not even just Te Ao Māori, like Te Ao Pākehā as well, like bringing them in to understand both worlds, because
Mm.
it's not like how maybe not just our generation, but the one prior to us, like our parents' generation, how they were just like um all on the marae and all that kind of stuff, like learn like fully invested in Te Ao Māori, where we like for us, our generation, we see the benefits of both Te Ao Māori and Te Ao Pākehā, and just to like
Yeah.
yeah, that's like a new avenue for us.
Hard. It's such an important thing too, because is to try and bridge the two worlds instead of trying to live in two separate worlds. It's just too taxing and almost impossible to do. What are some of the, I guess, measures you'd like to see taken to help further advance the unification of our two worldviews so that we can see eye to eye rather than one trying to be more dominant than the other?
How you're asking me a PhD question right there, cuz fuck.
Hey,
um,
this is just an opinion on it.
I feel like for me personally, I have like how I'm feeling right now. I have no idea, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. For me, I feel like I haven't seen enough, or I don't know enough to be able to give like a valid answer to like that partai. Like for like, there's one part of me that it's hoping that it's like everything's gonna get better, and like both worlds like meet in the middle and like find like a census type thing to like keep us all happy. But and the other half of me is like, that's never gonna happen. Like the Western world is never gonna let us like be on par with them, kind of thing. Like they always have to stay above, and we always have to be below. But I think for me, like the main thing is just keeping like us, like as a Māori, like keeping us and like knowing how much we are actually worth, and knowing what we do for us as Māori like is still good enough, and it's like the best thing that we can do at the moment. Um, Especially with everything that we've got, and like you see everything that's going on, everything's getting better by the day. Like all these new things are coming around, and all these new like kaupapa are starting to pop up, and iwi are starting to get more invested and like doing wānanga for their people and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're so right. There's so much good that's happening to counteract, well, not counteract, but to add a bit more balance to so much of the negative that has occurred in the past. It is a tough question to ask, and even to try and consider how you get them to be in playing fields. And it's not about one party sacrificing so the other can succeed.
Oh,
You
nah.
can still operate in the two separate worlds. It's how do we find that common ground, so that we can meet each other eye to eye instead of, like you say, having the Western world and their ideologies forced upon us as opposed to meeting us with respect.
Yeah. I feel like for me personally, because my dad's side of the family, they were Pākehā, and then my mum's side, they were Māori. So, like, being able to dip into both worlds, but still keep who I am in both worlds type of thing. Like, there is a way, it's just that a lot of people these days can be pretty stubborn, and they don't, people don't want to learn, or some people don't want this, some people don't want that. But, like you said before, if there's a will, there's a way. So, yeah, it's pretty much like how I see
Hard out. Hard. And how do you well, I guess it's easier when it's whānau, but I guess how do you maintain and hold fast to your identity when you're out there in the world, as someone who is whakapapa Pākehā, whakapapa Māori?
Like I feel like in NZ, everything's just I feel like it's easier in NZ. Like the only reason why I'm saying that is because the other day, me, my dad, and my partner, we went out for kai, and because I got all my like moko on, like on my arm, I got my putaringas done. There was this one like Aussie nania, and she like fully just like hard out like stared me out. And she had these big like cutters, like she was doing like a pukana, and she's like just stared at me for like 5 minutes, and I was just like, "What the fuck is going on? Have you not seen a Maori before?"
Bro.
I feel like it's a lot easier in NZ because everything for Maori is becoming more like normalized. Like it's becoming normal to see like people getting their moko kanohi done. It's becoming more normal to see people wearing like having their tāmoko on their like arms, their legs, their necks, their like anywhere. But like for me, like dipping into like right now, I feel like dipping into both sides, like my Pākehā and my Māori side, is I don't dip. I feel like I just stay true to who I am and how I was raised and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes I feel like I'm a bit too Māori to be in the Pākehā world, but like, I don't care. If you don't like it, then fuck.
That's the way to be, though, eh? Like,
Yeah.
I am who I am. Love
Yeah.
me as I am. Otherwise, fuck you.
Yeah, no, hard. Like, you have to like stay true to who you are. If you're not gonna stay true to who you are, then you're just being fake here.
100%. And people can see right through that shit too.
Hard. I feel like not being like mean or anything, but I feel like Māori see it, like can see you being fake from miles away. Like compared to Pākehā, they can't see when you're being fake, but Māori they can see if you're being fake.
I kind of think that comes down to growing up. And if you grow up around your cousins, I feel like you have that as like a sixth sense because your cousins, bro, they bully the shit out of you growing up, and you bully the shit out of them. You like gaslighting. I reckon was invented by Māoris, bro. Because fuck, we did some terrible shit to our cousins growing up here.
Like, cause I grew up in a whānau that was just like I had no boy cousin. It was like all women, like all girls, all men. Oh, I mean not men, women. Like I feel like because like like a male couldn't really like hit them or anything, but like I feel like like growing up with your cousins, you can definitely sense that shit from miles away. Like it's funny now, like growing up and like realizing it when you go back for like a whānau hui or something, or like you just see them around or something, and they're just like, "Oh hi, how are you?" Da 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 da. and you like feel like you probably haven't seen each other for ages, but when you do see each other, just like normal, like nothing's changed.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I love most about catching up with the cousins again. No matter how long it's been, it's up to and then straight into the nicknames.
I feel like,
Remember when?
yeah, I feel like that's why I like going back up to the coast. Not that I've been shitloads throughout my life, but when I do, like the cousins there are always like Tutawake. I'm like, up to nah.
But it's those relationships that you build, that timeless. It doesn't matter how many minutes pass or what you've been up to in between, is just timeless.
Hard. Yeah, it's just I don't know how to explain that, but like if you know the feeling, you know the feeling. Like that's
Yeah. It is hard to explain that. It's like, have you got heaps of cousins? Like I was talking to one of my Pākehā mates once. I was like, when you catch up with all your cousins, they're like, I've only got like 2 cousins. I was like, oh, well, like, and then they're like, nah, I really don't. I'm like, oh fuck, nah, never mind then. Now, my bad. Just.
But I feel like for like Mauri, like your parents are gonna like have like good mates, and then their kids become your cousins. Like that's your uncle or that's your auntie.
Yep.
And like all that type of stuff. Like one of my aunties, she's kind of like another mum. She lives over here, but she was over in Duds the other week, and she was just like, "Hello, my son," and then I was like, "Oh yeah," and then she said to her 2 daughters that she had over there, because she knew that I was coming over to Oz in like a couple of weeks. She's like, they're like, bye, and she's like, your brother will be over in a few weeks, he'll be all right. And I'm like, and because there's no like whakapapa back there, but then you still have like that connection because they're so like good mates with like your family, like your parents and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. There's heaps of cousins that we got like that, aunties and uncles there, and people are like, oh, how's that? Like, oh, is that your mum? Is that? Nah, man, it's just their mate. But fuck, who cares? It's a thing.
I feel like everyone freaks out for like, and my like when they hear about my whānau, because my mum was obviously like she was whānau'd out of her biological family to like the whānau that I was raised with, and because her and my nan, her whāngai mum, they're like 10 years apart in age. So like when I say like to people, oh yeah, I was just with my great grandparents the other day, they're like, what? Like, oh yeah, and then you have to explain the whole story again. So like there's all like those situations, like the whole like age difference, and like this is your cousin but you aren't connected through whakapapa, or like this is your cousin but you are connected through whakapapa, for like an example.
Yeah. And I think it comes back to that proverb, like it takes a village to raise a child, and it truly does, because it takes so many people to raise a child. They just become whānau.
And like, bro, I've been saying that the whole time I've been here, because like the old man and like my grandparents that over here, they'll be like, your mum's done like such like a good job of raising you, da 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 da. And I look at them, I'm like, yeah, but remember, she wasn't the one who just raised me. Like, cause like, so my Pākehā family, they're not Aussie, they're Kiwis, but they moved over to Oz when I was only like a kid. So like they've been here for like 17 years and all the like and shit. So like when they always say like your mum's done so well, I'm like, yeah, but you never saw when I would always be like at my nan's, or like it wasn't just like it was her, she done a lot. Like I'm not putting down like my mum, like she done a lot for me growing up, but it was the rest of the whānau who actually helped build me into the person that I am today. Always being at my nan's and running around with the cousins and all of that kind of stuff. And I've been telling them the whole time, yeah, but it takes a village to raise a child, and that's literally what happened to me. And then then all my whānau, like my dad and them, they'll be like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, no.
it is like always how do I say it? Fascinating to people who aren't kind of brought up in that way, I guess, of putting it. They're always like, well, what do you mean you spent like every other weekend at your nan's or at your cousin's? It's just the way it is, you know?
Yeah. But like Maori would just see that as normal. That's the only thing. Maori would see that as normal. Everyone else, that's weird. I'm like, no, you're weird.
Bro, hard, eh? Like, you've had a sad life if you didn't get to go to your nan's.
Bro, if you never got to stay at your nan's on the weekend now, oh, you missed out there.
Hard, especially when all the other cousins are there. Oh, game over.
Bro, and you're all outside playing like go home, stay home, 1, 2, 3, fucking spotlight and all of that stuff.
And then one of them always gets a clip around the ears for taking it too far.
Bro, yes. And that was always me. Because I was the only male. It was like, oh, they're girls. And I'm like, fuck, who cares? Nah. Oh, they're all...
Oh, my name she was like the queen of being fair throughout. So if one of us gets a hiding, we all get a hiding.
Oh, I wish I had a nan like that. My nan, she got that, that looker that she don't need to say nothing, but she got that look. And that look can kill you. I'm like, ooh, nah.
Sorry, nan.
Yeah.
But yeah. Nah, my nan, she reckons, oh, you're laughing. Oh, get here then, boy. Ah! Oh, you want to laugh. Ah!
Fuck, that would have been... Yeah, and because, like, there's all that stuff, like, no whānau's the same. That's, like, no whānau's the same. Like, for us, for example, like, my name will kill you with her eyes, and your name goes, like, if you're laughing, or you're all getting a fucking slapper.
Yeah, but like you have similar experiences. Not everything is going to be the same, and I think that's what's great about growing up as Māori. And I think that's why when you get to university, you kind of just gravitate towards other Māori students down there.
Hard. Yeah, because what was like for you? What was your like thing coming down from Taranaki and coming? Because was there a lot of you that came down from Taranaki and came to Otago for uni?
So I did 2 years in Wellington first. So I did a 6-month personal training course in Wellington, worked in a gym for 6 months after that. Then I went back and did an exercise prescription diploma. And then I was like, maybe I'll go to university and take it a little bit further. And so I was rolling down. My year group already rolled through uni. They did their thing. And so I was like, shit, all right. Went down, and day one I met Jerry Ngaloifa, the Samoan. I met Sunny, Sam Baxter, but he's a Pākehā fella. But he's gangster though. He's the man. Mitch Langton, who was from Taranaki, he was from Opunake. But yeah, so I just sort of beeline during that PEO week, that PE piss up night, beeline for any Māori, and was just like, what up, my cuz? This is us it. It was it was different. But I think that's what also pushed me towards Pema as well.
Yeah. Was
just trying to find that home away from home.
Hard.
Because it's a little bit different down there. It's if you don't find your Māori, if you are Māori, you get a little bit lost, I think, in the drinking and the studies and all that.
Like, yeah, that's why I asked, because obviously you came down, like a lot of other Māori do, and there's people like me who are already from there, like born and raised, and go there, and already have like a connection with people everywhere. And look now we made this connection, me and you, fucking way back when old Mr. Fellow over here tried to outdrink me. No.
Hey, boy. Anytime, anywhere, brother. Anytime, anywhere.
Let's go now. No.
Should we tell the whānau at home some of the series of events that have unknowingly linked us? Like, how about you tell the story about that time you flipped your waka out at Karitane?
Okay, I had there was this wānanga out at Karitane, right? And it wasn't just me, bro. It takes a lot of people to flip one waka, mate. And I'm not the lightest.
You're telling me, bro.
I'm not the lightest cunt out here. So, okay. Long story short, we were paddling. The waka flipped. And instead of me grabbing my glasses, I grabbed someone else, and my glasses are now at the bottom of the awa out at Karitane. And then a week later, I see this little fucking bugger over here, and he tells me his story about when he flipped his waka and his glasses are stuck on there too. And I'm like, oh, no, that's all right. At least I'm not alone.
Bro, because here's the thing, right? Normally I'd take them off, but the previous 2 times I've been out on that water, I was like, nah, sweet as. I want to see where I'm going.
Yeah.
Enjoy the scenery instead of just watching blurry trees. So I was like, I'll wear my glasses. And so whānau who know waka ama, you got an ama on one side, and that's the side you want to like lean into and steer into. Well, like the bro decided to turn the other way.
Oh, hell.
And it was a bit windy. And the wind decides to pick the arm up. We flip, and I try to like grab my glasses as I was falling, but the life jacket kept pulling me back up.
See, if you don't have glasses, you don't have this issue, and you will never have this issue. But for me and him, who are legally blind, shit.
Bro, that was miserable, man.
And I just
but the bro felt so bad for me. He gave me $140.
No one gave me no money.
That was all the money he had.
No one gave me no money. I was blind.
Then it must have been your fault they flipped.
No, hell no. No, probably not. But no, like I just remember like that. I remember it like it was yesterday. All I see is the ama going over, and then I get under the water and my glasses fall, and I grab them by my chest, and then I pop out and I see this, because there was one of the girls that was on the waka, and she had like a huffer puffer on, like a puffer jacket, and she was a skinny girl, and like she was struggling, so I had to I unconsciously dropped my glasses, swam, threw her over the ama, and was like, hold on. And then grabbed another person, chucked them over, and then I was like, oh, now we have to flip it. And I was like to them, ready, flipped it, chucked them back on. And because I was the heaviest, it took like 2 people to pick me back onto the waka. I was like, yeah, sorry, I'm not strong enough to pick me up.
Oh,
yeah, that was
That
was a funny story. Funny time, and because it made things worse, because I was with one group and there was another group that was on the par, and they saw it happen, and they're all hey! I'm like,
it's shame as when you flip
hard. And yeah, like you said, you go you were like, oh yeah, just wear your glasses, because I've never ever flipped the waka, and because I've not my first time on that waters with the waka, but you just never know what's going to happen next sometimes.
Yeah, it just goes to show, whānau, always got to be respectful over there, on, in, or around the water.
You got to respect the atua, give them the respect that they do. Because 1 minute you might be losing your glasses out at Karitane.
I think it was Hene Moana that tipped us in, because it was a waka full of tāne, and we told the wahine all in the other waka that we'll have a race, and they got the last laugh.
Okay, so That's what I said to the other waka. I was like, should we have a race? I didn't tell anyone that, but now that you said it, I said it. Don't say that you're going to have a race with the other waka on the awa whānau whā. Or you'll be in the water.
Be humble.
Be humble.
Be humble.
Be humble.
And if you're wearing glasses, do not mention let's have a race.
Do not even think about it.
Yeah, maybe just stay on the land next time, eh, whānau?
Maybe just swim across.
Bro, was yours in the middle of winter too? Because we all almost got hypothermia, eh? We had mad shock.
It was around
back to shore.
It was around this time in 2021.
Yeah. We flipped middle of September 2019.
Oh, hell. Like 6 months apart.
Yeah, bro. Oh, it was miserable. Couldn't see the rest of the trip. That was the Saturday. We got, it was noho marae. Got there on the Friday, Saturday. Knocked the vision.
Well, I was just lucky because I got someone to drive me all the way back into town, grab my spares, and then run back out there.
See, those were my spares.
Yeah, well, I was like, when I was packing my bags to come over to Aussie, I was like, I'm grabbing my spares and I'm chucking them in my bag. If something happens, not that I'm going like swimming with my glasses, but like if anything happens to my glasses and they break, I'm not staying over here blind.
Bro, actually, they're so expensive and it takes ages to get replaced.
Way hard. And because they all have to get sent from over here too in Oz.
Because I think what I do to get mine replaced, so I had to order some more, and then I was like, do you have any like contacts or anything I can wear? And they're like, oh, you can use these trial lenses. I was like, perfect. I need some vision, bud.
And did they help?
Oh, a little bit. It wasn't the clearest, but good enough. Good enough. I got an extension on an assignment that I hadn't started too at that point.
Yeah, nah. You can't be doing, especially if you're blind, you can't be doing no assignment because your head just gets so sore. Because your eyes are straining and all of that. I'm like, heck,
Bro, it's a mish. I hate being blind. Get surgery one day.
Huh?
Might get the eye surgery one day.
Oh, yeah. Do you have thousands of dollars?
Not yet.
That's the thing, eh? Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Hey, not yet. But whānau, if you head over to 99dreams.co.nz and cop a hoodie, then maybe your boy can get some surgery done.
He's got Afterpay at TV. He's got Afterpay.
Afterpay. So, you know, if you spend enough on Afterpay, you can delay your payments.
Well, don't you have to pay your Afterpays first, though?
Yeah, true, yeah. You gotta get there first, whānau, but when you do, it's a perk of the app. Speaking of perks and things like that, we've got this thing here that we do on the show, my bro. It's putting people's dreams into the dream box, and on the dream box it says always remember when they doubted you. It's a Trae Young sneaker box, and I quite like that sentiment.
I got heaps of sneaker boxes here, bro, and these retro Jordans here that I won't show you. You might get a bit jealous. Well, like literally, okay, I'm gonna move my computer for a second. I might look at the putty. Sorry, it's here we are in my dad's office. These are all shoe boxes, bro. There's so many bloody shoe boxes there. What are those? You're not Chicago. These are Air Jordan 2 retros.
Fill up your bag, my cuz. Fill up your bag. There we go. Eye surgery right there. Resell.
Nah, cuz he'll get angry. He might fly back to New Zealand. But here you go. These are.
So with this section, my bro, everybody that's come on the show has shared with us a dream that they have. And I've put it into the box. Some people have shared things like, here we go. To live a life my family can enjoy and have freedom. I forgot who wrote that. I should have put their name on it. My bad. David would like to have some involvement with sports. Breezen would like to see his muckles grow up when he has them. He's just had a baby.
Oh,
and another one on the way. Jackie wants to be a co-host of the 99Dreams podcast. I wrote in here. I wrote in here an important one that I hope to finish and tick off this year, which is complete my master's thesis.
You'll get there, bro. You'll get there.
Let's hope, brother. Let's hope. So, what's a dream or a few dreams that you have? We'll put up to 3 dreams in this box if you would like.
Okay, number 1. Be another co-host for the 99Dreams. I like. Okay, yeah, that's been a joke, but that's also been funny because how podcasts are going these days. Like, I'd love to be a part of like your journey and like all that kind of stuff because like podcasts are becoming such a good thing. Like my grandparents that are here, they're in their 70s, and I was like, "Do you know what a podcast is?" And they're like, "Bro, we listen to podcasts all the time," and I'm like, "Shit." So like I feel like
because it's like a radio without the ads.
Yeah, hard. And just seeing how much like even like streaming on like Twitch, like playing the game or something, like all of that stuff, how that comes into it. Like, yeah, I'd love to be a part of your kaupapa, bro. And like, I know that this is a little bit, but like in the future and all that kind of stuff, just to see how everything is, because like,
maybe, bro, definitely. Once we start expanding, for sure, man, I'd definitely love to have you a part of it.
So yeah, there we go. Tutawake. My second one, probably for me, like this is a real personal one, would probably be like just to grow with my deal. Like I feel like I'm at a stage now where I can understand and have a conversation, but yeah, just developing it a bit more. That's probably like the second one, and the third one is just like making my family proud, and making sure that they're not just financially, but like my immediate whānau, like my parents, my grandparents, and all that kind of stuff. Like making sure that like they're all happy, and all that kind of stuff. I won't do every auntie and uncle in the bloody world, just the immediate ones. Yes, I'll have to be a billionaire to be able to make sure they're all right. Shit. But yeah, that's like my last dream, is just to make sure that like my immediate whānau, like they're all like all good. Like they have no worries. Like I don't want my grandparents to be working until they're 80. I don't want like my grandparents over here, they're still working. They're in their 70s, like mid 70s. Like my grandmother, she's in her 70s and she's still like a full-time registered nurse at one of the biggest hospitals in New South Wales. Like
it's hectic. And
like my koro, like over in NZ, he's still a full-time worker, like working like on diggers every day, and he's 60. Like I like, and he's like, you know, those like old koros back in the day, they've all worked since like 5 in the morning to like 7 at night. I don't want them to be doing that like for the next like 20 years. Like they need to chill out. Like that's the only, like, and that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that like all my whānau are like not just financially, but like they're happy enough to say I need a break and I need to enjoy my life, because like I've only just finished uni at the end of last year, but working all the time, like doing like a 9-to-5 job, like it does take up a lot of your time. And I think the biggest way that I realized that is someone said to me, you spend more time with your work whānau than you do with your actual whānau.
It's a chilling statement, eh?
Yeah.
You realise that?
Like when I got told that the other week, and I like got home and was like sat down like with my partner, I was like, like you actually like you spend more time with your work whānau than you do with your actual whānau. So I feel like that's my last one. To put it in like a little sentence would be like just would probably be like something like whānau stability or something, or like whānau happiness, or something like that.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, those are some amazing dreams to have outside of the co-host one. Jeez, but no, like I feel like I'm kidding, brother. I'm kidding. But I love the fact that you want to retire your whānau, because I feel like that's every kid's dream, is to retire your parents, retire your grandparents, and let them live out their life doing what they want to do, because they spend so many years of our life doing things to make our life better.
Especially if you're Māori, because like we were saying earlier, you're always over at your grandparents' house.
Yeah.
And they do so much behind the scenes to help support you, and your parents do everything in front of you to like help you. So being able to be there and support them, I feel like that's like the biggest thing you could do for like your parents and your grandparents and like your immediate whānau is make sure that they're like happy and they can actually like retire and enjoy the rest of their life.
100%. Like that's what success looks like. Success is the joy you can bring to your whānau.
I'd love to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Well, fucking hell, if I'm a millionaire and my whānau unhappy, then bro, I don't even know if I'd be happy then.
Oh, hard out, cuz. But it's if I'm a millionaire, I damn well know that my whānau is saying we're millionaires.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You don't tell them, bro. You say, "Oh, I'm just poor as hell."
They be telling you to turn that letter M upside down, brother. That's not a me, that's a we. We millionaires.
No, me, motherfucker. Nah.
Yeah. I'll be like, well, you turn that W right back around. Because that's my lotto ticket.
Oh, lotto.
But yeah, nah. That's the only way I'm getting rich, cuz. The lotto.
I know. We're taking 99Dreams to the world, bro.
Take us to the world, brother. And that's the thing, is there's plenty of room at the table to eat. And one goal of mine is to bring up others with me, because
but you're
I'm not doing this alone.
Hard. You've got heaps of people.
Like every guest that comes on, they're uplifting the kaupapa. Everyone that likes, comments, shares, and subscribes uplifts the kaupapa. So definitely not doing this alone. And if I can bring along people with me, this is the platform to do it, because whānau,
well,
life's boring by yourself. I'd rather be broke and surrounded by all the breathers than rich and lonely.
Yeah. It's like that saying goes. It takes more people to paddle a waka than it does one person.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
You can't paddle all the way from Hawaii to Aotearoa by yourself. I mean, you can try.
Yep. Someone got to navigate.
Someone got to tip out all the water.
Someone got to do the karakia. You can't do it all on your own.
You might be too greedy.
100%, brother. But I'd love to bring you up on the kaupapa as soon as I get the capacity to, my man. That's the goal, is to keep growing, keep increasing the capacity.
We won't be there.
Once we increase it, we'll get there, brother. We will get there. Step at a time, day at a time, one podcast at a time, we'll get there. I also love your reo journey too, brother. That's always an exciting one, eh? Like, I've just started mine. I love it. It's
I feel like
you can't really put it.
It's good because you're back home too. Like you're surrounded by your iwi and all that, like, and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that's a lot easier than doing it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful for all my kaiako that I've had in the past, like all of their like mātauranga and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're gonna get there one day. Like you said, one podcast at a time. My one's gonna be one kupu at a time. We'll get there.
Exactly, my cuz. Exactly. And one thing my uncle's told me, and I've told a lot of people on this podcast as well, is that don't get too hung up on fluency, on being fluent, because you're already fluent in the words that you know and the words that you speak. So maintain that fluency and keep becoming more fluent in other words, but don't ever think that you're never fluent. You are fluent in the words that you do know and the words that you do use.
Hard.
So before we start wrapping up, there's a couple more questions I'd like to ask you, my bro.
Let's go.
And the first one is, if you could sit in front of, let's go with 17-year-old Tutawake, what would you tell him?
17-year-old me.
Yep.
I would say keep doing what you're doing. However,
Ooh.
yeah, keep doing what you're doing. However, just know that the path that you're on is the right path.
Ooh, I like that.
I feel like
I like that.
17, like, because you know, like how uni goes, you always, like, you get like halfway through the year, then you start doubting yourself, and then you get all that stress and all that kind of stuff. You get distracted by going out with your mates and all the parties, especially at Otago and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, my one would just be keep doing what you're doing. You're on the right path, and just don't let what anyone says, even your own whānau, don't let what they say deter you from going down the path that you're going. Because look at us now.
100%.
Like, look, like
100%.
yeah, like I'm happy where I am now. Like, it might have taken me a bit longer than most people to get my degree, but I'm here. Like, I'm here now. Like, and yeah, I feel like that's what I'd tell him, to be honest.
Brother, that's some amazing advice for anyone, really, because it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there. It's about all that experience you learn along the way, and it's the things you learn about yourself on that journey as well. That's super important. And listening to what you just said is you've learned a lot on that short amount of time, and you know, to be so sure of yourself, bro. Some people can't even, you know, reach that level well into their 40s and 50s.
Well, I
So
would
to have, you know, an understanding of that now was pretty on.
Like, I didn't want to say like what most people say and be like, don't go drinking and don't do this and focus more on your studies and all that kind of stuff. Because, man, what, like, that's just, I feel like that's been a little bit like whakaiti tō mana. Like, it's like you're putting someone a bit down rather than bringing them up. Like, yeah, like, just I reckon just reassuring people and all that kind of stuff, that just makes everything a bit better.
Hard out, bro. And there's, like, it takes nothing to be kind. It really doesn't. To uplift someone, it doesn't take any effort at all.
$100 for being kind, yeah, no, I'll take that. But
the final question in terms of that series is, what would you tell yourself in 5 to 10 years if you look back on this podcast?
Oh, okay. My first thing, man, we employed by 99Dreams. No.
Hey, I hope so, brother. I hope so. Shit.
But I think 5 to 10 years time, we'll say 10 years, not 5. Or I will say 5 because you asked me in 2017, and this is like 5-6 years later, and I finished my degree. So in about 5 years, what would I, if I was looking back at this, I would be probably looking at me going, that's an ugly moustache. Nah, jokes. I don't, like, I'll probably just tell, like, myself in 5 years, probably just the same stuff. Just, you're on your own, like, it's our journey that we're on, and I think every bump that you're climbing to reach the top of your maunga, like, I think that's the biggest thing that comes into my head is your journey. Like, for me, how I think about it is you're climbing up your own maunga, and all those little bumps, all those little hurdles that you have to climb across are just a part of your journey to reach the top. So yeah, I was explaining that to one of the cousins the other day. Like, they were having a bit of like a rough day. And I was just like, remember, cuz, like, this is all a part of your journey to climb up your maunga. And this is just a necessary hurdle that you have to pass. So in 5 years' time, I'll just keep telling him what I told me in 2017. Like, just keep doing what you're doing. Just don't let anyone deter you from your journey. And that all comes back to what my great grandfather said to me the other day. He because of that, all that whole, like, our flight got cancelled. Me and my partner's flight got cancelled, and we had to stay in Queenstown again. We stayed with them. He said this was just a necessary part of your fella's journey, is to come back and stay with us. Yeah, this is just a necessary part. So just keep doing what you're doing, and just don't change who you are. Because there's only one of you. There's only one of you in the world, and no one else is like you, unless you have similar traits like what me and Mauri have.
Yeah, that story we told earlier is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, you wait. There'll be another podcast that'll come up in the future, and then we'll explain more, because there'll probably be another story by then.
There definitely will be by then, brother. But that is some amazing advice to give to yourself. And there's no truer statement than that, right? It's your journey. And sometimes there are things that occur in your life that are inevitable. And it's just a part of your journey. There's nothing you can do to change it. You just got to embrace those things that come up like that, eh? Those small hurdles.
Yeah. And they might be difficult. Like, it might be hard. Like, you might just, like, feel a bit like mamai inside. But at the end of next day, you'll wake up and you might feel a bit better, or you will feel a lot better. And that goes for anyone out there. Like, at TV, like, if you don't have to take what I say into account, or you don't have to take it, or you don't even have to listen to this podcast. It's all right. But yeah, just anything, like, or like just what I just said before. If you want to, like, take that as a part of your own journey, kind of thing, because I can't tell you what to do. Only you can tell yourself what to do. Only you have control over your own world. So. And that all comes back to my great grandfather, who's still alive, and that was one of the things that he taught me. So take it from the older generation.
And that's what this whole podcast is about too, my cousins. Learning from other people's experiences. You don't have to take everything everyone says, but there's always a little piece of wisdom that you can add to your own kete to propel you and whatever trajectory it is you're going, because in life you can only have one lifetime's worth of experiences. But the more you talk to people, the more you engage with other people, you can learn from their experiences, just in case you overcome or you come across something that they have also come across, and you'll be like, oh, I remember Tutawake said, just continue to be you, doesn't matter, just keep striving for that peak of that maunga that you're trying to climb. And so those are some of the lessons that people can apply in their lives if they ever come across a moment where they need it.
Like, yeah. Kea koe, Dewi, kea koe.
But I guess now, as we start wrapping up the show, my bro, and let you get going, what is something that you want to leave with the whānau? What is something that you'd like to say? Where can they find you? How can they contact you if people want to reach out and link up with you because they've enjoyed this kōrero?
You don't want to talk to me, no. don't know. It's an interesting question because if you want to, just Messenger or Instagram, like it's just my name. I'm sure he's gonna tag me in on Instagram and everything. So if you did,
Yep.
you don't have to, mate. You don't have to. But if you do, yeah, there's like he'll probably tag me in all of his stuff. So that's probably the best way to get in contact with me. And if you haven't tried this, mate, this is called Dickel Whiskey. You could fucking not.
What?
Just so I think it's my great uncle or something. He made this whiskey, and it's it's called Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey, and it's got Dickel on it because my last name's Dickel Smith. It's a good, and well, you can't get it in New Zealand, so every time I come to yeah, I'm like, oh, I need a bottle. There's nothing in this one. Don't worry, Mauri. There's nothing in this one. Already drunk it.
It's fine, bro. Fine.
But yeah, I feel like the last thing that I have to say is that just ngā mihi. Thank you for listening, and ngā mihi te parata. You didn't have to let me come on, but you did. Thank you.
No, bro. Told you.
Always have to give mihi to the bro for his journey that he's going on and creating this platform to share not only mine but everyone else's journey and everyone else's kōrero too. So there's not a lot of platforms especially for Māori to be talking like this. So especially young ones, unless you're like
yeah,
Māori television and oh no, it's not called Whakaata Māori. There we go. But yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on, my man. It's been a what is it? What do we call this? It's been a bit of a process trying to get teed up.
Last time I didn't have a computer and I tried to do it on my phone and my phone kept crashing and then I was like, oh shit. Then I didn't get contact and then my laptop got fixed and now I'm in Aussie and I was like, fuck, I'll do it now.
Hey, exactly. And you know, it's all part of the journey. This is the time you were supposed to be on the podcast.
Exactly.
And I'm so thankful that you're able to jump on, especially with such short notice. They teed this up. Was it Thursday? We talked about this?
Yeah. Thursday.
Yes. So here we are. We managed to get it. We put it together, and yeah, thank you so much for being here, my bro. And I'll definitely link up with you when I come down to Dunedin next. I'm not sure when that will be, but there's a few things that I've got to get sussed down in Dunedin, including my masters. So I will be down at some point soon. Just got to get some time off.
You put it on your story. You'll be like, yeah, the man, the myth, the legend. The man, the clown. The man, the myth, the clown.
Nah. Straight vibes, brother. Straight vibes. So, Whānau, thank you so much for sticking around and listening. I'll link Tutawake's contacts down below. If you do want to reach out to him. He's got some amazing kōrero, just like we've heard. So thank you so much, my bro, for tuning in. And thank you, Whānau, for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode. Until then, take care. Mauri ora.